and Harriet Dart. Who would like to ask the first question?
Harriet, how did you find that? Obviously a disappointing result, but a good performance other than that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I played pretty well, and it's my first time playing here in the main draw of singles, so obviously disappointed to lose, but many positives to take forward.
How important was the fall, and what happened with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tricky fall, and had to get off-court treatment, as you saw, and we'll assess later.
Yes.
Was there ever a stage when you were off court where you thought you might have to retire? Was it that bad? Or?
I mean, obviously, it's tricky when you fall because you don't really know how you're going to feel. You only know in that present moment. To be honest with you, I think I was just really focused on trying to continue playing and stuff, and I wasn't. My focus was on that.
For a match with 163 places between you, you must have been really pleased that there didn't seem to be a gap, to the spectators at all.
Yeah, I mean, she's a great player, and she's a Grand Slam finalist, a top 10 player, previous world number one, so it was always going to be a very tricky match. I think I showed myself well, and again, there's many positives to take from it, so yeah.
Was your game plan different to kind of a normal match in some ways?
I mean, obviously against different opponents, your game plan's going to change a little bit, but I try and just focus more on myself and take care of those things first. So yeah.
Was it a thigh strain or something else that happened?
At this moment, I'm not quite sure what it is, so I'll see later.
Did your knee seem to bend underneath you as you went down? Was that a problem?
It wasn't anything to do with my knee.
Over on this side, thank you.
Fantastic play, well done, Harry. Was that first game of the third set the turning point? I think you had 3 break points. You ran them ever so close, but it just got away from you, and from then on cheating to get more confidence and kick on.
I mean, she came out swinging, and her serve, especially on the break points, was she was serving very big, and it was difficult for me to get any chances. But yeah, no, she definitely started to up her game a little bit in the third set, and I couldn't quite get the score pressure on the board.
Yes.
Harriet. Hi. I don't know whether you saw Judy Murray's comments this morning saying that tennis was due a Me Too moment. She talked about young players, female players specifically on the tour, feeling very lonely, and she even said that everyone had heard instances of abuse. I just wondered whether you had any thoughts on whether that Me Too needed to come to tennis, and what your experiences as a very young player on the tour have been.
I haven't actually seen any of her comments, but anything to do with me, I haven't had any incidents, and I can only comment for myself.
Over here, thank you.
How do you cope with the emotions of first Wimbledon? Is it something which you try and compartmentalise, or is it something you try and use as a motivational factor as well? Does it harm your thought process as you go through?
Yeah, these are all new experiences for me, so I'm just trying to grab every opportunity and take it in my stride, and I think I handled the whole situation quite well, and I look forward to coming back here.
Without Andy here, he normally takes a lot of the spotlight when it comes to British hopefuls. Does the rest of you guys now, without him here, do you kind of feel the sort of responsibility to step up and fill that void as well?
I mean, everyone here, British-wise, deserves to be here, and they're very capable of winning a lot of matches here. So I think all of us just try and focus on ourselves rather than worrying about how everyone else is doing. Yeah.
I think we saw that you had some notes with you, perhaps saying believe, commit, grunt. I was wondering if you could just explain those notes to us.
Didn't realise the camera zoomed in that far, but yeah, just a few cue notes from my coach, and just to believe in myself, and just a few cue notes to kind of help me in the match.
Specifically, does he want you to grunt to show that you're, in the match?
I think it's more that I hold my breath a lot of the time when I hit my shots, and I usually grunt, so it's just making sure that I'm aware of how I'm hitting the ball and with my footwork and my breathing.
Over there.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking you also study forensic psychology?
I do.
How does
yeah.
that work with your tennis, and why do you do that?
I do half the load that a usual student does, and I do it via distance learning. So at the moment, the workload's okay, but we'll see in the next when I have to do a bit more work. Yeah.
What drew you to that?
Sorry?
What drew you to that subject? Why did you want to do that?
I've been thinking about doing something degree-wise for a while, and then it's always something I've been interested in. So then, obviously, I wanted to study something that I actually wanted to do, rather than study something which I wasn't totally interested in.
Over here.
It was getting warm out there today, and if it gets much hotter, the women get the opportunity to ask for a heat break, which the guys don't. And I just wondered if you felt that might be a bit unfair on the men when it starts getting really warm.
I actually didn't know that the men didn't have a heat rule in place. Can't really comment about that because I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, the conditions are the same for everyone, so.
At the back there.
Also, sort of following up on the heat, how did you sort of find that? We're obviously experiencing a nice warm British summer, but obviously on court it's a lot different for you. Did you find this was some of the hottest weather you played in London, certainly?
Definitely of the grass. I mean, we've been really fortunate with the weather. Obviously, the conditions play differently on the courts and stuff when it's hotter. But yeah, no, I mean, everyone should be quite happy that it's sunny. It's quite rare in the UK that it's hot, so you should embrace it.
Okay, over here. Thank you.
In terms of your studies versus your tennis, would you hope that moving forward you maybe put the studies on hold because the tennis takes centre stage?
You know, my tennis is my priority. I fit my studying around it. Again, like I said, I do half the load a usual student does, and they're very flexible with me and they know my situation. So at the moment, it's going well.
But obviously, you know, you're not going to be somewhere like this if you're not trying to, you know, motor on, and you obviously, you know, moving forward nicely. So, you know, I suppose in one way, is it a good distraction? Can you balance the two? Do you think, does it help to have something like that to take your mind off?
I think for me it helps that I can put my mind to use on something else as well, and that's why I enjoy doing it, and that's why I've started doing it, and that's about it really.
Where is it you're studying?
I do via the Open University.
Thanks, Harriet. Andy Murray last year led criticism of the club's scheduling on Centre Court and Court number 1. It's shown that men's matches are more likely to get to be billed there. As a young female player who's presumably going to go on and have a play here many more times, would you like to see scheduling change to reflect more female matches being played at the bigger courts?
I mean, you know, us players, we have no control over the scheduling. That's what the tournament referee and the organisers, you know, I'm sure they find it also probably quite tricky to balance what matches to play. Of course, for women's tennis, it'd be nice to see a couple more matches, but again, I have no control over that, so.
Obviously, the prize money at Wimbledon's pretty significant. What do you plan to spend your £39,000 on?
You know, a lot of people have been saying that to me. I find it kind of a weird question because, you know, the whole year I don't play tournaments that have as much prize money as it has here, and have a lot of expenses that I incur. You know, week to week I have my travel, my flights, my food, my accommodation, if I take a coach with me, I've got all my coach's expenses. So for me, it's just being able to get by and reinvest it into my tennis.
Last year, Katie Boulter said that it would fund for her to have a coach with her all the time because she said the tour can be quite lonely. Is that something that you would consider, or I don't know whether you already always do have someone with you? But
yeah, I travel quite a lot with my coach, but not all the time. He also works at the place where I practice, so and obviously financially it's quite difficult. I'm not sure, I haven't done quite the sums and all the numbers to put forward in that sense. So we'll see, but obviously we'll be looking to take my coach a lot more with me.
Over here. Thank you.
How much has this match given you a thirst for coming back here, winning more matches, climbing the rankings, maybe get an automatic ranking next year?
Yeah, definitely. My short-term goal is just trying to get my ranking up. That's really what I try and focus on. And obviously would love to be back here. This year I've been very fortunate that I had a wild card into this tournament. So I'm, was very excited, and I thoroughly enjoyed my experience. And yeah, in the near distant future, I hope to be, in by a direct ranking.
And you were a junior member here, is that right, as a kid? So did you play the grass courts when you were sort of knee-high to a grasshopper?
I've played a couple times, but not so much on the grass, more on the indoor courts.
Okay, time for one more question if there is one. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh? Do you know my mum?